What's going on, good people? Hello, hello, and hello. We are back in this wind down Wednesday. Y'all
Yeah.
know what we do. You know how we do it. I'm sitting here. You know who I am. I'm Sandy. I'm sitting here with my girl.
Hey, it's Shanice. What's good? It's Wind Down Wednesday. Y'all know what time it is. It's time to talk for sure.
Let's talk all about it. But in the meantime, in between time, how you been, friend? How you been?
I'm good. I mean, I'm on location. Partially. I'm in the car. I gotta get some stuff done, but that don't stop my Tuck Radio show. So, with that being said, how you doing this week?
Well, it's a great week. It's a wonderful week, but a little stressful. A little here and a little there because this week is the week that we are helping with some of the arrangements for the young lady that we lost that was in our program a couple of weeks ago. Um,
Right.
her services are Saturday, so we are
Okay.
trying to assist however we can with that. So it's a little stressful on top of the job and the things that are going on inside, outside, and around the nation. So,
Right.
other than that, girl, God is good. It's good. It's all good. It's just good.
Well, condolences to her family and her and all of those that obviously were connected to her or build importance to her or her family. So shouts out and our condolences from Tuck Radio.
Why, thank you. Yes, yes, yes. We
Mhm.
want to send love, mass love, because we don't have nothing but love for kids, and you know how we do it. We love the babies. We
Yes.
really love the babies, and we try to do whatever we can to take care of them and look out for them. So it's kind of hard when you lose somebody that's really close to you, but it's really hard when you see a kid that's close and you lose a kid that had so much going for themselves, and they just sometimes we, even as adults, make wrong decisions and bad choices, and kids do too. So it's expected in life, but with hopes that we all learn from it. We can always learn from our mistakes. We can learn from the bad decisions that we made and the bad choices that we made. So with
Yep.
hopes that everybody learn from it, it's a wonderful and a beautiful thing. So that's what that's where we are, and that's what we're dealing with. So let's just keep her and the family, like Chanice said, just keep them in prayers and make sure everything works out for the good of everybody involved. So we are here again, and you know how we do it. When we say let's talk about it, we talks about it.
We gets into it, baby.
We get into it. And tonight we are getting into it because it's so much
Woo.
going on. Now
It's
let's
a
talk.
lot to get into. It's a lot to get
Let's
into.
talk about the. Let's just go on and have it, get it out there. Let's talk about the elections coming up. Because we can't harp on it too much, not enough.
Right.
How important it is for people to get out and vote. Whether or not they got to stand in line, and somebody said, I keep looking at it. You stand in line for these Jordans. You stand in line
Yep.
for purses. You stand in line for games, but you cannot. You don't feel like you can stand in line for a vote to cast your
Right.
vote. So we here are stressing that point. We can't stress it enough how important it is for everybody to vote, to do your part. And I really don't
Indeed.
care who you vote for. Just go out and do your part. Do your role. Do what you need to do, because at the end of the day, I don't want to hear your mouth. Shanice don't want to hear your mouth, and nobody else want to hear your mouth about whether or not you can or cannot, or who should have won, or who didn't win. So that's where we are right now, good people. So please get out and vote. Please get out and vote. You got the DNC, you got the RNC that's going on right now. DNC took they happened last week. The RNC is going on right now, so we want to make sure that you can watch either one, and then you get your feel of what you thought about the Democratic National Convention and what you're thinking about the Republican National Convention. Either way, watch it if you want to watch it. I only watched it a couple of times last week, um, on particular nights. I didn't watch it every night. I just watched it a couple of times when the DNC was there, particularly when Michelle Obama spoke, and when Oh shoot! When Barack spoke and when Kamala spoke. Anytime other than that, I don't even think I really saw the rest of it. I just watched it when those three people spoke at the Democratic National Convention. Now, have I watched the RNC, the Republicans National Convention? No, I have not. I have thought about it, but I have. But that's my choice. I mean, we all got once again. We
That's
all
right.
got choices.
That's right. Free
We all
will.
got choices. And I haven't watched it. I'm not saying that I won't watch it tonight or tomorrow night, but there really hasn't been anybody on there that I really wanted to see speak, so I didn't watch it. It's simple. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. As an adult, I think we can do what we want to do and watch what we want to watch. I just
Amen.
didn't feel like it.
Amen. Thank you for
So,
free will, Lord.
did you watch any of it?
I did not watch none of it. I was supposed to watch when Obama and Michelle was on there, but I did not get a chance to. It can be overwhelming. It can be a lot. I'm very busy. But I won't be too busy to vote, and I'm trying to vote in October. And I encourage everyone who's listening globally to Tug Radio that get your early vote in, get it done, take it yourself to where it needs to go.
Yeah.
Because last week, if you tuned in or if you were able to catch the show, if you were able to go back to watch it, we talked about how the mailboxes are disappearing. And it's just a lot of extra stuff that's just happening. So
Yep.
I did not get to watch it, but I do plan to vote when they open it up in October, just to kind of do it, get it out the way, and kind of go from there.
Yeah, me too. I think it's important, especially women. I think we need to just make sure we turn out in droves. Mentioning women, one of our favorite people. What's going on, Inga?
What's
happening,
good?
Inga? What's going
Thanks
on, girl?
for
Hope
tuning
life is
in.
treating you well. Hope
Yes.
things are going good for you. I know we're all busy and doing our own thing, but it's always good to see people chiming in and kicking in and saying hello. Once again, women are in the house and we're doing what
What's up,
we do.
Kelly? How are you?
Kelly Prather, what's going on? We want to make sure we give our shout outs to our good people.
Yeah, shout out to our Black kings and queens.
Yes, we love you guys, and thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, because this is the year of the woman. 2020 really is the year of the woman. So
say that.
we gonna say that because we can. 2020 is definitely the year of the woman. So we need all women. We need y'all to get out.
That's right.
Yes, we need y'all to help push this vote so we can get on and make this thing happen. So we brown people can make history happen.
Amen.
We Caucasian women can make history happen. We Black women can make history happen. So we need everybody that's, want to see a change to get out there and make a change and make it happen by voting. So Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for clicking in. Thanks for watching us. Tonight we're talking about it. And I want to get down to the nitty gritty because we talked about the voting. We can't say it enough. So we're going to probably say it again before the show is over with.
Yeah.
Now, there's some things that took place in Wisconsin. We all, at the end of the day, are quarterbacks. Hindsight looking in. Everybody wanted Monday morning or Sunday night quarterback when we were not there. Now, wrong is definitely wrong. At the end of the day, Tuck Radio does not condone anybody getting shot and killed or shot, period, unnecessarily so when it could have been avoided. Now, let's talk about Wisconsin. Let's talk about the police in Wisconsin shooting the man in the back several times who appeared to be walking away. What you think about that, Shanice? Tell me what you think about it. Yes, Ida, that is so sad.
I'm tired. I'm saying I'm kind of like the sister who made a statement. I don't know if you got to catch her statement or not, but it's just it's tiring. It's old, and it seems like it's happening weekly, monthly, and it's just, to shoot somebody in the back, like protocols have to be followed. You know what I'm saying? I understand that we want all police officers to go home. We want civilians that are pulled over to be able to go home as well. But to watch that, and exactly just like Inga saying, and in front of his children, and that is so devastating. That's gonna change their whole concept thought process. They need counseling. They need therapy. You know what I mean? They need their dad. They needed to not have to witness that.
Yep. That's
So
trauma.
I'm hurt. I'm hurt. It is trauma. I'm hurt behind it, but I'm tired. I'm tired of seeing it happen. And it's more common now. People say the new normal is like it's the new normal, and that's horrible.
And my thing is, you know, and I know me being in the profession of law enforcement, me being in a position to make adjustments accordingly, and go with my training. I consistently say, and I'm gonna keep saying, it's all about the training. Now there are these small entities, and I'm hearing that this was a small police department, and they didn't even have freaking body cameras. So
Wow.
had it not been for somebody that was there, partially video recording, because we don't know the whole story. We don't know.
Right.
The
Right.
bad part is he got shot in the back.
Right.
He got shot in front of
Plain
his
and simple.
kids.
In the back, in front of his kids, plain and simple.
I mean, my question, and I can, you know, and I can be the devil's advocate. I can play the role, and then I don't have to play the role. But my question is, if someone, it's almost like getting in a fight, you know, and I think about it now, you know, growing up, it's like getting in a fight. But see, I didn't have too many fights. My mama didn't tolerate that. You know, she didn't raise us to be fighters.
Fighting. Right.
Yeah, she didn't raise us that way. So I don't know you know, we all got mad, but I have watched over years people fighting. And I tell kids to this day, I tell them this, and I tell anybody this: don't ever turn your back on anything or anybody after a confrontation. Don't ever do that. You can walk away. You can walk away sideways looking at them, but you still can be going in the direction you need to go in. Now, once you turn your back, which means I ain't trying to confront you no more. I'm not trying to deal with
I'm walking
this
away from
anymore.
the situation.
I'm walking away from the situation. You can go on, yup, all you want. I don't have nothing to do with that. So I am walking away, which means to me,
I digress. It means I digress.
That's right. I'm done. It's over. I'm done. Now, what was in their thought process as police, I cannot say, but I'm going to speak for me as a law enforcement agent. For me, I'm not going to let you get to that car to get in, but I am not going to pull my weapon out
and shoot you in your back,
because you're no threat to me at that point. But I'm not going to let you get in your car because I don't know what
you have.
I don't. But I'm not going to shoot you. I mean, they didn't train us. I'm going to tell y'all right now. Let me let y'all know right now. For all those that like the police or don't like the police, I'm okay. I don't like all of them either. But at the end of the day, it's all about the training. Cincinnati police are not trained to shoot anybody in the back. Okay.
I've never heard of any officer trained to shoot someone in the back.
Well,
leaving or walking, running away.
But we don't train to choke either. But there are some agencies that allow that to happen.
That's true.
So
that's fact.
It happens with how people are trained. So
right.
I am going to consistently say it's all about training. But me personally, how I was born and raised, first of all, that's the first piece. And if I am trying to do right and keep everything at a minimum,
right,
I'm not going to let you get in that car, but I'm not going to shoot you in the back either. It's just not, I mean, you're no longer.
And so then in my thought process too is, what conversation was being had? Because even if so, in the conversation, like, sir, I cannot let you get into your vehicle right now. Can you just sit on the sidewalk? Because if you get into your vehicle, I don't know what's in your vehicle. What happened to it, man? Verbal communication. Again, we don't know what happened beforehand on the table. It was speculated. It's been told or it's been said that he was breaking up a fight. He was an innocent person. He had nothing to really do with it.
Right.
That he just was trying to, he was trying to be the peacemaker, break up two girls fighting, and that was it, and going about his day.
Right. He was
But at
trying
the
to
same
help.
time, if I'm breaking up a fight with someone and the police shows up and I'm having a conversation with them and it's seeming as though it's getting heated, for me, I'm like you, I'm not gonna turn my back. And at this point, I mean, people that rate the climate of the rate the not just the racism, but like what Breonna Taylor's killers still, no charge, no nothing. There's just so much stuff happening. What is happening with community policing, communicating in policing? Where is that gone? To simply say, sir, okay, sir, I understand you saying you had nothing to do with it. We want to talk to you some more. Can you step up to the side? I cannot let you get into your vehicle because XYZ can happen if you get into your vehicle. Where are these conversations? When are these conversations happening?
And that's a good question, because my thing is, get to the car before he gets to the car so he can't open the door. At this point in time, to my understanding, I'm just going by the
What's
video
known? That's
and
it.
what was said,
That's
because
it.
I wasn't there. And the fact of the matter is, you're shooting at him and you're shooting at a car when you don't even know who's in the freaking car. I got a problem with anybody doing that, whether you're the police or not the police. You're shooting at a car and you don't even know who's in the car.
Right.
Period. I mean, at some point,
So with that being said, how are you really protecting anyone?
and what you said earlier, community policing is a huge piece of what should be taking place. Because I'm going to tell you, when we had Chief Jeffrey Blackwell in this city, police were told to get out of their cars and talk to the people in the community. Now, I've always done that. I don't have an issue. I don't meet too many strangers. There's some people that I like and don't like.
Right.
Some people you go know I don't like, and some people you won't know that I don't like. But I'm going to get out and I'm gonna have a conversation. And at the end of the day, you may not like the rest of them, but you're gonna like me.
Exactly.
I'm gonna make sure that whatever I leave you with is gonna be something positive and something good, and you can count on me the next time I come back here to do my job again, hopefully better than I did the first time. I did it today. I just happened to be in the area, just happened to be there, riding around, and I get there, and it's some old heads, old schools that's still there doing the same stuff. So who gets out of the car? Miss Tucker. That's my name. Miss Tucker gets out, and we have conversation, and guess what they did? They went on their merry way. It's just that simple. It's not complicated. Some of us make it more complicated than others when we really don't have to. But
I feel like I agree with you. I feel like kind of like how Ingrid said. She said she feel like their hatred of blacks take over, which I can agree with that. And I feel like the fact of not just that they hatred take over, but the arrogance of them not wanting to be wrong. You are human. You are a police officer. You are sworn in to protect people. You want yourself to go home, which is understood. But at the same time, you are human. You can make a mistake. You can have something wrong.
Yep.
It's okay. That's okay. But the arrogance of people, of these officers that I'm seeing, that's just pulling the trigger and just killing black people, they're arrogant and they just feel like, nothing's going to happen to me, or I don't have to apologize. Like, no. At the end of the day, you human. You put your pants on one leg at a time, just like any of us do.
Correct. And my other thing is, I think too, with a lot of agencies, with a lot of law enforcement agencies, they hire too young. You know, 21 is the legal age that you can hire as police anywhere. Do
Right.
I think 21 is old enough for you to be a police officer, being able to carry a gun when you're still wet behind the ears and you don't know much about life?
Mm.
Should the age limit be raised on being hired as a law enforcement? Me personally, I feel it should be. I feel that the number should be raised to a higher number. But you can be the police at the age of 21. Is that a good age for anybody, any young person to become the police? I mean, that's extremely young. And it's showing with some of these departments that 21 is young. Now, granted, we do have some older officers that make some mistakes, but the mistakes that the older officers make are not nearly as bad as some of these younger officers make. I do think 21 is a low number because you're still
Right.
waiting years. Some of the 21, some of them still staying at home with their mamas and daddies and don't even know. I mean, you barely can get in a club,
Well,
you know.
well, and a lot of the ones that are young like that, like they've barely really had any work experience, especially when it comes to dealing with the public, dealing with different attitudes, different cultures. You know what I mean? Like, so all of that has to be taken into consideration.
Right.
I mean, it's just hurtful to me and sad to keep hearing and seeing on the regular basis that there's not the conversations had that should be. There's not apologies as police officers. Okay, I apologize. You know what? I had it wrong. You good. You can go on your way. You helped them. I'm gonna take your name. I'm gonna take your information. This is what you told me. You was a witness, and I'm gonna go on about my day. At the end of the day, I have your information. I don't need to drag you, pull you. Like, I don't have to shoot you in the back in front of your kids. Like, none of that. It's crazy.
Right. And like Robert said, it's not enough. Being 21 is not enough life experiences unless you got some sort of military background
That's
and
true.
it's included in with your hiring. But the whole thing about it is because how old you got to be when you go to the
Military.
18, you know, and you got to spend at least what 2 to 4 years in the military before you can do whatever you got to do. But that's at least you got some type of experience. You got some type of experience. And I do know here in the city of Cincinnati, state of Ohio, Hamilton County, they try to get older individuals with experience in life, period. You know, whether or not it's on the as military, they try to give it to you. They try to hire with life experiences at an older age. That's why we don't have an age
Right.
limit. That's why we don't have an age limit. I mean, we don't have an age limit. So you can be older than 21 if you want to be hired with the police department here in the city of Cincinnati, state of Ohio. So, I mean, it's just up to the individual.
Clearly, because Pops was 65 when he got on. So
Obviously, yeah. You know, you retire from one job, you can come back to another job. And you're right, Robert. I mean, you're right, Ashley. You're absolutely right, Ashley. Most of the shootings aren't by the 21-year-old officers.
that is correct.
It's by the officers that's been there for a while, that's probably stressed out, overly stressed, just fed
That
up.
have been probably overlooked. They have probably had complaints before in the past. They have a paper trail in their file, and it has been ignored.
Totally ignored, because we look at the guy in Minnesota who killed Robert Floyd. We look at him and, you know, he had so many complaints. George Floyd. He had so many, thank you. He had so many complaints against him that now you didn't address the complaints that he had. Now somebody loses their life because you didn't address the complaints that he had against I don't know if it was Caucasians, whites, blacks, Puerto Ricans, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is he had complaints against him and they were never addressed.
And how does that look now?
And how does it look now?
That's not a good look for the department, period.
Not at all.
Because
Not
you're,
it is
because
not a
you're
good look.
representing. You're
It's not a
representing.
good look, period, for police. It's not a good look for police. I was just on the phone earlier with somebody, and I'm not a fan favorite of complaints, but if the police ain't doing right, doggone it, how about you file a complaint? If it's me, if you don't like something that I did or something that I said, please feel free. I tell them that all the time. Feel free. There is a process to it because there is called paper trail. It's called a paper trail. Hey, what's going on,
What's
Mr.
up,
Herman
Irma?
Howell? He said, do you
What's
think
up?
the Black community leadership need to teach Black people how to comply and complain the right way? Well, Robert, let me say this. When you are older, I think we know how to communicate. We know how to file the complaint, and we know how to do things the right way because there are many, many, many times that the department, us, me, I'll tell you what you need to do and how you need to go about doing it, how to comply. But let's just keep it real, Mr. Powell. Let's just keep it real. Sometimes we comply and still get a beat down. Sometimes we comply and we still lose our life.
And we've
So,
witnessed, and we've witnessed that
and we've
time
seen
and
it
time again.
over and over again. But the question is, do I feel leadership should take more of a role in teaching it? Yes, because how many classes have you heard about or gone to that's teaching you and showing you what you need to do when it comes to following the rules of when you're asked? See, they tell us it's three things. There's three things they tell us. We ask, tell, demand. I got to ask you. That's the first thing. I got to tell you. That's the 2nd
Mm-hmm.
thing. And then I got to demand you do it. That's the third thing. And it didn't say, don't give no examples on how it's done. I just got to do it. If I follow all three of those stages, guess what? I am complying. Me, as a law enforcement officer, I'm complying with the rules and regulations and the procedure that has been put in place for me to follow. Do I feel like they're doing enough? There's always more to be done by everybody. Can we
Right.
ever do enough? Sure, we cannot. We can
Mm-mm-mm.
continue to try to educate, but the more we educate, it appears the worse things get.
Right.
I'm not going to tell anybody to run away from the police. That's not what I'm going to tell you.
Definitely. No, no, not at
I'm
all.
not
No,
going to tell you to
no,
do that. Am I going to tell you to comply? Yes,
no. Without a
I
doubt.
I am. I'm gonna say that till I can't say it anymore. Have
Right.
we lost several people because they have complied and they still died? Yes, but I'll always tell you to comply. I will always do that
That's
because
right.
I'm afraid y'all don't get it. I guess a lot of people don't understand, but let me explain it to you just for a brief moment. I am a law enforcement officer. And there are times where I fear for myself because I've gotten pulled over by the police too.
Right.
So let's not get it twisted. Just because I'm one does not mean things have not been said or done to me. Now let me change that. You ain't gonna do nothing to me. But have things been said to me that I've had to call on some people? Yes. Or I have to take myself physically over to that station and let them know exactly what was said and who they said it to. Yes. I've done it on more than one occasion. Yes. How about I get pulled over by the police because they tell me I've never seen that car in this area?
Mm.
Now, when they find out who you are and what you do, it's a little too late. That's a complaint. That's a complaint all day. So I will tell you to file a complaint, and I'm going to tell you to comply. Do I think that we do enough in this city of Cincinnati with teaching individuals? No, because we have too many individuals that's self-serving and they don't want to teach you. Instead, everything is against, even against the good police officers that are out there. And there's some good ones. I'm one because you're looking at me.
Yes, you are. Thank you.
Thank you. We got another individual that's joining us this evening.
Hey, hey,
It's
hey.
Pastor Michael Scruggs. How are you, sir?
That's right.
How are you?
I am wonderful. I'm gonna need you to go on and put yourself in the middle of your camera, because you know it's kind of like you got your whole
Yeah,
face,
we only see one of your
got
eyes.
your whole face cut off. You know, move it the other way. Other way.
I was like, there we go.
Yeah, that's a little bit better. See, and
All right, I move my body.
All right.
welcome, Pastor Scruggs.
Yes.
Thanks for coming on. Right now, you know, we're talking about the shooting that took place in Wisconsin. We're talking about how the leaders in the city of Cincinnati, are they doing enough? Could they do more with teaching individuals here how to comply and what to do when they get stopped and pulled over by the police? Is there more that they can do? And I absolutely says yes. Robert Pope says, comply without all extra stuff from all the street lawyers, hyping things up, not trying to make light of anyone, but that's doing wrong. But but he's telling the truth. We got a lot of street lawyers. We got a whole lot of street lawyers. But then when our people are gunned down by each other on a daily basis, this is another issue that I have. We never get them to step up to the plate and turn the individual in. That's a problem that I have also. So, you know, it's more to it than just it's a lot to do with what's going on in the whole United States of America, with your number 45 leading the way. I'm just gonna keep it 100.
That's
Just
true.
how it is. So thank you for coming, Mr. Reverend
Yes,
Scruggs.
yes. We're gonna switch gear. We talk about everything in Tuck Radio, so we're so glad you're able to tune in and pick up with us.
You know, I definitely appreciate the invitation. Anytime somebody says they want me to come talk, I'm honored, because you know I ain't got nothing to say. So I'm like, hey, I'll jump in the conversation.
You don't have anything to say. You got a lot to say. Thanks for joining us. Of course, like I said, we talk about everything here, and we try to keep it 100. And we normally speak from experience. You know, we're not experts at this, and we don't have a degree or a diploma like you, Rev. You know, you got that minister's license going on. What? Yeah, you know, you probably had to go learn it. You know, they taught you how to do the whoop whoop, you know, and all that while you were at church. We get ready to talk about John Gray right now, Jerome. We are getting ready to talk about. That's why we got Reverend Scruggs on the phone with us on the line. First of all, Mr. Reverend Dr. Bishop, do you mind telling the people a little bit about you?
About yourself, yes.
Yeah, I try to be as simple as possible. I'm born and raised in Cincinnati. You know what they say, Cincinnati since my mama had me. So, product of CPS, Cincinnati Public Schools, straight out of Rose, London, straight out of Walnut Hills. Walnut Hills Eagle at the same time. Our church, you know, we birthed it here in the city just as an opportunity to love on our residents, love on our people, to bring something different. From a different point of view. God, I believe, has a wonderful sense of humor. He picked somebody who didn't like school and didn't like church to get a doctorate degree and start a church. So, interesting scenarios that you just kind of run with and say, all right, God, I hear where you at, and I just kind of rock with it.
Well, we thank you for being here. You know, you are a product of the public school system. Let's get that right, people. Public school.
Absolutely.
Born and raised in the hood.
That's it.
So thanks for joining us. You know, we want to talk another piece about, it's one thing, and I say it all the time, many are called, few are chosen. Few are chosen and not called. So this John Gray, in case people don't know, John Gray is a minister, pastor, preacher from Cincinnati, if I'm not mistaken, in Atlanta, was given a humongous church to oversee. The problem that I have is we have people that are in those positions who are supposed to be leaders of flocks, and people follow them, and maybe they're looking at the wrong piece. They're not looking at the spiritual piece of it. They're looking at the naturalness. But whatever it is, I don't feel it's right. How many times God said he'll forgive us 7 times 7, 7 every day. I know that. He forgives us daily when we ask it. As a preacher, minister, a bishop, a pastor of a flock, how is it that one can continue to commit adultery and step foot back in the pulpit and ask the people, his wife and his family, to forgive him over and over and over again? Explain that to me. I mean, I know you cannot answer that question, but can you, like, I don't know, talk about it just a little bit? Because, you know, that's a big role to be a pastor of a church, and you got people following you.
Right.
You are a leader. The word leader in itself is enough.
Yeah, couple things. So one, I don't know all the details on his situation, so I can't really speak to specifics because I personally don't know, and I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that isn't brought out to the public eye. Of course, when you're a public figure, they you kind of fall under a microscope, so they kind of pick up on everything. So I don't know all the specifics on that. Two, I think every scenario is going to be different because for me, I can attest to the fact, and I've even told my church this publicly, I'm honored by the fact that I've never had any female try to flirt with me at our church. And I think as part of it is because how myself and my wife kind of operate and how we function. I think
Conduct yourself, yes.
she's a product of CPS as well, and they know she's a fighter. Like, don't let the high heels, in the
I know that's right. All right, Keisha. Yes.
She'll knuck if you buck in a heartbeat. So there's no doubt about. I don't know. I can't really attest to that. So we've never had that issue. And so, not to mention, I'm scared of her. So that may play a part as well. But I think the other piece too is that I think if it happens in one part of the kingdom, it affects the entire kingdom. And what I mean by that is if, not just his situation, but any situation that happens like that, all of us kind of get looked at with a side eye. Where that's where a lot of people who don't go to church say, well, that's the reason why I don't go to church, or that's the reason why I don't do this because of this scenario. So they'll kind of pick one area, one isolated situation, and say, well, that's my reasoning for not going. Not to mention they probably wasn't going to begin with, but now they kind of have an
excuse.
Yeah, now they have that excuse to say, well, that's the reason why. But I think part of it, though, I think in terms of being able to return back to that same place and pulpit, etc., I think it's a matter of a means of grace. It's tough because I think on one end, the reason why they should be allowed, I guess to a certain degree, is grace. I don't know how many times you allow it to happen before there's some type of, hey, take this time off to get healed, whatever, kind of deal with whatever the situation. But you have to kind of look at it from a reverse standpoint as well. We can't say a one and done type thing because this is the same person that when he's helping to, when I speak he, I'm talking in general, like he's helping to feed somebody's family, helping to visit when mama's sick in the hospital, helping to visit Pookie when he gets locked up. And so he's going out of his way to kind of help in manufacturing a number of different areas. But as soon as he falls or deals with an issue, then he gets abandoned. And so, but this is the same guy that you don't want to abandon you when you go through situations. So that's what I'm saying. There has to be some type of a grace in there. I just don't know. I know it's hard to say, well, I'm going to let him fall 5-6 times. I don't know what that number is before you say, what, I'm going to give you, I'm going to piece you out. But I think there has to be some type of balance in there, though, to say, what, I'm not perfect. I got my own sets of issues. They walked with me, while I was going through my stuff. I should be able to walk with them while they're going through theirs. And everybody has that, that place. I think it may come down to a thing of maybe it's unrepentance, maybe, where you just simply say, well, I'm going to just do whatever I want to do. And because I'm such and such, y'all going to rock with me anyway. Not to say that that's the scenario, but I'm just, kind of
throwing out some things. Right.
A couple thoughts out there.
Because I find it it's national news and it's all over the place. I mean, it's almost like it's hard enough for Black men in today's society already. And then on top of you being in a public figure, it makes it even almost worse. The thing about, we had we all know we had a pastor here too that utilized his position to do whatever he felt, as Jabron said, because he knew at the time there were no consequences
Right.
until you were made and forced to sit on the bench.
Right.
But how long you gonna sit on the bench before you realize that you cannot continue to keep going in the direction that you're going in? Because at the end of the day, it tears families apart, which is another issue that I feel as Black men that they have with their families. When their families are torn apart for whatever reason, it causes problems. You know,
And I was gonna ask, it does, and I was gonna ask, like, is there, as far as pastors are concerned, like, is there, I don't know, I wouldn't say a, not alliance, but are there, I'm sure you have people that are in your corner besides your wife that are like accountability partners, you know what I mean? They're like holding you accountable, because it is a lot on your shoulders, you know, and y'all human at the end of the day, you know what I mean? And so that's understandable, but are there like specific accountability partners that each pastor have, or can you like give us a little bit of more detail inside, you know what I'm saying, some of the things that he could have done to kind of maybe avoided this issue, just hypothetically?
No, I think that's a great question. And I think ideally, this is my personal opinion, I think every pastor should have a pastor. So in other words, you should have somebody that you are submitted to or that you sit under because of those same things. So for me, my pastor is in Cleveland, Dr. R.A. Vernon. That's who I'm submitted to as my pastor. So I don't go to him necessarily for church growth or ideas in that sense. While I may get those things, I go to him because he covers me as an individual. He wants to make sure that my family is tight, that my marriage is tight, and we are good, because he wants to make sure that I am good, healthy as an individual before I get into that pulpit. There's a million people that can preach by all means.
Right.
But if you're not healthy emotionally, mentally, spiritually, etc., that position is taxing. It is a rough thing to kind of try to walk. And not to mention, a lot of pastors don't have a lot of friends, quote unquote, that they can kind of go to that are in the same space, same time, etc. So you should have somebody that you are under that holds you accountable. So for instance, if myself and teacher are beefing or going through some stuff, she goes to him and say, hey, come get your boy, like, because he's tripping right now. And I'll get that phone call and I'm like, and I even know when I see his number pop up, I know it's not a courtesy call. I know it's like trouble. It's like, dang, like, man, Keisha done snitched on me, and now I got to go to him. He also has that power to say, hey, I need you to go sit down for a month or whatever. And because I put him in that position as my spiritual father, quote unquote, like, I have to honor that and say, all right, well, hey, y'all, I'm gonna be down for it a little bit. We're making these, putting these plans in place to let you know who's gonna be running the show, blah 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 blah. Because I need to go, take some time away to get myself together. But like I said, I know for a fact not everybody has that. So while ideally that should be the case, I think that is void in a lot of areas, which tend, like I said, if you don't have accountability, you liable to do anything. And it's just, and that's the natural side of it, where if I don't have somebody pulling my coattail, I can fall victim to anything.
Yeah, any of us can. Yeah.
Yep. At any given time. And with all of that, as my brother said, his asking for forgiveness obviously isn't genuine, because he's consistently done it, and he consistently asks for forgiveness, but you consistently doing what you shouldn't be doing. But with all the turmoil and what we're under now, with all the stress and with all of the shooting of our African American men, what, as a pastor, as a bishop, and as a leader of your flock and your children, because you have people looking up to you with everything that's going on, when you are talking about how people should do and what they should do when they see the police, as a bishop, minister, pastor, father, what do you tell the people? Because we're in a trying time right now, because the reason why I ask you that question is because we have people like John Gray that's in front of flocks trying to teach the word. But then at the end of the day, you're trying to tell me what I need to do and how I need to go about doing it the right way. And when I see the police or when I see somebody else on the street, then I do the very opposite of what you are teaching me. So what are you saying and doing with your flock right now under the times that we're under?
Yeah, I personally, I don't see an issue in terms of when, you know, with the anger, with the frustration, like I think it's natural, a natural byproduct in terms of, so a couple different areas. So on one end, I definitely don't agree with tearing up your own neighborhood. Like that don't make sense. That's
Oh no.
our couples that, you know, that are getting married and engaged. I was like, if y'all fight, why are you gonna tear up your own house? Like, why you gonna, someone did right here? We pay for that. So, so that, you know, in terms of tearing up your neighborhood, I'm not encouraging that, but I do believe in pushing forward to make some moves happen, though, because one of the greatest or the best ways to spark revival is to create change and not just sit around and wait for everybody to do stuff. And so right now you see a major spark as it relates to Black businesses and generating black wealth and recycling Black dollars. And so I think that starts to trickle things and recognizing and realizing our power and saying, hey, you know what, we have like so much say so that we're not tapping into. It's sort of the idea from slavery where the slaves outnumbered the slave master 10-1. However, they were ingrained in their mindset that you're subservient to us, so you will always fall into this servant mindset. It is the book, The Miseducation of the Negro, Carter G. Woodson, and he speaks to the fact that if you teach a man to, control a man's mind, I'm paraphrasing, you don't have to tell him what to do. He'll already automatically fall into that role. So we have to now recondition our mindset to say, you know what? No, I'm better than this. I don't have to settle for this. No, there's more in store I can do and be. And so I think from a leader standpoint, this is the message that I portray, that I push, that I try to walk out on a day-to-day basis. That's why I'll just check on this too. One of the things I've been telling our church recently is, like, even how we've been in this pandemic piece, I said I'm setting aside a tenth of our weekly, tithes, sort of as you will, to go into Black businesses. So as they're giving in, we're recycling to go right back out, and so to other Black businesses to make sure that we're self-sustaining to the best of our, and so we're able to be fully self-sustained, where you're not asking for a whole lot of stuff. You're just doing what you need to do. Say, hey, we dictate this show. What would it look like if we released our own neighborhoods? What would it look like if we had our people standing on corners to protect businesses and, saying, hey, there's a better way to do this than what we do. Because even what you see with the protesting that's taking place, a lot of them aren't even our people. Like, these are outsiders from different places. So they there's a whole number, different number of, conspiracy theories, et cetera, regarding those that ain't all our people. And it's not necessarily they're not because they're on our side. They're bringing their own agendas to the table. So we have to kind of come with our own mindset. Hey, here's what we're about. Here's what we're fighting to do. And here's how we're going to get it done. Hopefully, I go on rabbit trail. So hopefully I can answer some of that, what you're asking.
Oh yeah, I wanted to say before, because I know you don't have a whole lot of time. You got some other meetings to get to. But if you can give us your information, we'll put it down in the comments as far as like what your church's name is. Are you guys streaming mobile? I mean, are you guys streaming? Are you back in the building? If you give the people that type of information, so that they'll be able to kind of tune in if they don't have a church home, etc.
And what has Corona? How has Corona changed for you and your congregation?
Great. So I'll give the information. I'll answer that. So as Light of the World Church, we are currently still doing virtual services. I personally don't think it's safe enough for us to kind of return to, based on the size of our congregation and like I said, I'm this big. I believe I'm held accountable for these people's safety. So I'm like, hey, I want to make sure that it's safe as possible before we kind of return in person. So as of right now, we're kind of holding off on it. So Light of the World Church, streaming on Facebook and on YouTube every Sunday, 10:30. And if you go at Lowcincy, so LOWCINCY You'll see us pop up on YouTube, on same on Instagram, same on Facebook. So we're all over the place. If you just Google Light of the World Church, we'll pop up. You Google my name, I don't know what's gonna come up. There's a whole lot of all this stuff, I promise you. We got a plethora of things kind of popping off, but nevertheless, but as it relates to this pandemic, it's been, of course, it's a blessing and a curse for us as a church. We are touchy-feely, hugging, like we love you from the parking lot to the pulpit, and so it's hard for us to not be able to do that currently. So that's a drawback. The beneficial side of it, we're reaching more people now than we had the opportunity to reach prior to. And so we're reaching thousands of people each week. I don't have to worry about where they park at, where it's just kind of, I'm able to reach literally, like we have people who are joining in different cities and different states. And so that's been the benefit and the byproduct of it. So it's, one of those areas where God sets it up for us to still reign and be able to, get that word out there and do what we need to do. Like I said, we've been streaming each week. Our guys have been doing a masterful job in terms of, production wise and, trying to up the quality. And so it's not just a boring stream like, oh my God, I got to sit through, this. Where we like, hey, we even like our physical services were already an hour and a half. But we said we even got it down to a little bit under an hour for our online services because we understand, attention spans are a little bit different, sitting there online. So we said we can even cut some time down a little bit more. So so we've been working our hand. Still been able to love on people, do some outreach. Just got finished doing back to school stuff for teachers and students. And so still working on some stuff behind the scenes that's about to come out in a couple of weeks as well.
Okay, good. So would you be willing, if we reached out to you, Tuck Radio and some other people, because the question was posed, do we think leaders, and we consider you as a leader in Cincinnati, as one of the leaders, would you be willing to, I don't know how we do it, because right now, like we said, the coronavirus has everything kind of like shut down, but maybe we can do another conference like this of some sort to get people involved and showing them and telling them what they need to do and how they need to go about doing it when it comes to complying to law enforcement. Would you be one of those individuals who would help assist with teaching and training?
Yeah, no, I definitely would like to be a part of that, as well as bring some other individuals that I know to be a part of it, because I know, obviously, African American police officers, throughout the city who share the same sentiments. However, that's their job, and so I think they bring a different mindset to the table as well to help share.
Got it. I mean, because I think we're gonna probably need to do that, because at the end of the day, the thing about John Gray is he has power. He had power. I mean, and I think sometimes it's unfortunate, and I'm gonna say this, and I may be wrong, God forgive me for saying it, but I think some black men, some allows power to get to their head and take over what their main mission is, and they forget what the mission that they set out to be, what God set out for them to do. They forget what that mission is, and they allow for other things to come in, and it takes over, because they do have that, they got the power. When you got an airplane and you can fly anywhere you want to fly, and the man said, we going to Cabos. Is what he said. We going to Cabos. All you need is a 2-piece. Who he talking to? His wife? Or the other lady? Power. When you are showing a jet sitting on the runway, he said 2 hours to leave. Come on now.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Yeah, it's a little difficult. Like I said, I don't know the scenario. I don't know all the details. I do know, the scenario in terms of the power issue has been something is biblically. It's been doing it since Genesis. So, something that we've been wrestling with since the beginning of time. Can't say that it's going to disappear anytime soon. Is one of those things we try to manage to the best of our ability as it kind of shows up.
Let's keep it real. That's what I think. That's the problem too. This is my personal opinion. This is my personal feeling. I think that's the problem with a lot of police. They got power. They have too much power, and with that power, sometimes it can overtake their thought process on making the right decisions when it comes
Yep.
to the situations that they're in or that they are posed with. That's just me. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not in that situation. Thank the Lord Jesus. I pray I'll never be in that situation. I pray I retire before any of that take place. Hallelujah. Praise the name. The end.
All
So
right.
that's where I am. But I do think that that's the problem with with people that are in positions of power.
Mm.
You know, and I think that has a lot to do with where we are now in today's society. We have people in power that are making decisions that are for whom, and it's not the decisions that God's allowed and wanted them to make anyway. So we know you have to go, Pastor, but we want to
We
thank
appreciate you. Yes.
you for joining us.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate the invitation.
And we're gonna be reaching out to you and asking you more about trying to teach our young men and women in the city of Cincinnati, state of Ohio, what they need to do when it comes to complying, not just to police. I mean, it's pretty much anything in life. You know, you need to comply. You need to do what you are asked to do, even if it's in school. You know, because I think sometimes we as our children have difficulties following rules and regulations at school too. So, with hopes that we can train them up and teach them the right way to go with the help of some of our
Leaders.
some of our leaders here in the city of Cincinnati. So thank you, Pastor, for joining in with us.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. We'll call you again on another good day when you got a little bit
Yeah.
more time.
Say
Tell
absolutely.
Keisha we said hey to family. Hello. Thank
Well,
you.
look, she just called a couple minutes ago, so I'm about to call her back.
Yeah, you better
All right.
look, get on off. You better go and call her back right now.
Talk soon.
Thanks, Pastor.
Uh-huh.
That was wonderful. That was Pastor Michael Scruggs here in the city of
Yes.
Cincinnati.
Light
State
of
of
the World
Ohio.
Church. Yeah.
Light of the World Church. And I know, you know, we were, because the conversation was deep when we was talking about the Wisconsin.
It was.
We had to jump in a little bit with Pastor so he could talk about the misfortune of infidelity
John
and the cheating
Yeah.
of one of the people that live in the city of Cincinnati, state of Ohio. But at the end of the day, going back to our conversation about the incident that took place in Wisconsin, my whole thing is like Pastor said, you can protest all day. You can sleep outside if you want to. You can stand up against the wall. But what I don't understand and what I don't get is why is it that we feel like we got to burn it down? Now, it could be my store. It could be my store. I done built it from the ground. I done put all this money in it. That's my livelihood. Right. Something happens where a police officer takes the life of an African-American person or a young person or whatever. And then you got to burn my store down. And now I don't have my livelihood anymore. That's the piece that I don't understand about all of this.
Right.
Let me say this. That's the only part that I don't understand. I don't get that piece. Why? Why do we feel we have to burn down our own place?
Anger, rage, not thinking, actions without thought, which is what got us here to begin with. Some of the police actions without thought or the carelessness of it. And so, we have to do one better, not tear up where we live at, not tear up, but build up, like he said, start spending, start supporting, Black entrepreneurs. And I get it. I know sometimes our people, we try to support them and they be on some mess or they be unprofessional or, the list can go on and on. I understand, but have a conversation. We really need to work on communication. That's the key in any type of relationship. If you're disgruntled or you're upset and you're not happy about something, have a conversation with a person. And I mean, it starts there. If you're spending your money with Black folks and you're not happy, have a conversation with that person and try to pull it together. If not, find somebody else where you can support. But to tear up and burn down where you live at, your community, that's stupid.
And Mr. Everly, you are absolutely right, Mr. Everly. You are absolutely right. You got Antifa running around with Black Lives Matter. At what point do the individuals from Black Lives Matter identify Antifa? There got to be somebody that can identify whether or not this group is with Black Lives Matter and this
I
group
agree.
is with Antifa.
I agree, because a lot of that was getting tore up. One from people that was from here, some people that wasn't even from here that are supposed to be with the Black Lives Matter movement, but it's not about destroying things. And that's the difference.
And that is the difference. If we're going to protest, we'll protest. I'll be one of the ones to get out there and protest with them. I will. My daughter does it all the time, and I don't have an issue with that if it's done correctly.
Right.
But you're right. Antifa is destroying the purpose of the Black Lives Matter protesters. The good that they're trying to do, the peace that they're trying to promote and push. There are individuals that are coming in from other places that is destroying the main focus, and it's really taken away from what it was set out to do in the first place.
Right. It's sad.
Which it is sad. I don't agree with the rioting either, and I'm fed up with the rioting piece. There is a difference between rioting and protesting. There is a huge difference between rioting and protesting. Now, you can protest, like I said, and we've done it. I go back to the days of John Lewis when they marched across the Pettus Bridge. That's protesting. They grabbed arms and they walked across for the same reason of mistreatment with people now,
Right.
of all races, of all colors.
Right.
They protested for that, but specifically for us, for Blacks, to make sure that we were at least trying to, do right or get what was coming to us just due. Okay, justice.
Right.
That was good justice, so good trouble. But right now, it's like you rioting, you're burning stuff down. Who? And this is what I say too. When you got people that are throwing Molotov cocktails at buildings, who are they? Who are they? I mean, you can look at folks' hands. Their whole body isn't covered up. Their eyes are out. Their neck is out. Who's throwing fire, rocks, whatever else at buildings and burning them up? And then if I'm a Black Lives Matter individual and if I'm protesting, why am I not hollering, screaming, and yelling at you and fussing and carrying on? Because now you're burning up where I gotta live. You're burning up where I gotta stay. And then you're gonna go right on back over there.
To where you from?
To where you're from. Why not go sit down and protest at the council members, the mayor, the police chief, the city hall? Sit, do a sit down protest. Why is it that everybody, you wait until nightfall and then you want to throw stuff and you want to hit people all upside the head with things? But it happens. I mean, it happens. And I don't know how it's possible, Jabron. I don't know how that's possible that it continues to happen and they continue. I don't know. But at some point, somebody has to take control over the killing, the unnecessary shooting. Police
accountability. People are tired. People want accountability. You take somebody's life, then why is it, as we're seeing, people's life is being taken recklessly? Why are they not their powers taken and they're back to a citizen? They have to serve time like anybody else.
Right. And I wished life, Mr. Everly, was that simple, where we were all trying to work together and play the game to win.
But it's not like that. That's not the reality.
I wish we could all get out there and march and chant for the same purpose. I wish we could, just to win the game, Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. So how do we weed out the bad? How do we weed out the bad police? How do we weed out the bad police?
That's the question of the decade.
That's another decade.
And beyond that, because too many people are just dying, getting shot up and killed with no excuses. I mean, with no consequences. Not excuses, with no consequences. Tax on the wrist, you know.
I mean,
I'm over
and I'll go back to what Robert said. I think that if they're going to hire them, then they need to hire those that have had experience with the military. 21 is an awfully young age. And
I kind of agree with that to an extent, but all the officers that's been on with killing people,
like Ashley
they've been beyond 21 years old.
Like
I mean, they know that.
They've been on for a while. So my question too is, for those officers that have been on for a while, do they have that hatred? Is that hatred already in their heart and it's just not coming out until now? You know, have they always had that hatred in their heart, and that hatred is now coming out now? Why? Because they got the power. They got the power that they feel they can do whatever they want to do when they
because there's not been any consequences.
None.
So no consequences gives you more power, because you know that nothing's going to happen to you. So until something happens, that's when it'll stop. When something continually happens, without all these questions, without all these games, without all these excuses, you seeing what it is, and then you're handing out the consequences after seeing what it is, and that's it.
Correct. And then I'm not from here. I'm from a state. I'm from Alabama. And the thing about it is, the difference between Alabama and Ohio, they'll let you know they don't like the color of your skin. It ain't no issue. It ain't no ifs, ands, buts.
Ain't no pretending.
They don't hide it. They'll let you know. Here, they hide it. It's very conservative. And as Ashley said, the only way we going to make it is that we got to change what's in there already. But when you are finagling, when you are maneuvering, when you are putting other pieces of the puzzle in a place that it don't belong, how in the world can we make a change in the legislation with attorneys, mayors, the governors, and the senators? How are we going to do that when things are consistently changing purposely? So how do you change a bad police department? How do you weed out bad police? Now, there was a university, and we often talk about this at work. There's a university somewhere where there's a black chief. He is not allowing his police officers to carry weapons. They can't carry a gun. They can carry everything on their hip, but they can't carry a gun.
Wow.
So should that happen? Should they walk around without a gun? And you and I know that things at schools and at universities, shootings happen at those locations. So how are you supposed to defend yourself?
I mean, I'd want to know how long that's been happening, how long he's been doing that, what the success rate has been, what the failure rate has been. I would like to know. So data is still pending. Data is still pending.
Yes, and I agree with you, Miss Jones. And it's always a pleasure to see you, my friend. It's always a pleasure. But when there's an interview process, and I'm gonna say this to you, Miss Jones, I think all departments, all law enforcement need to add a civilian to their interview process when it comes to interviewing police officers. You don't have to have a whole lot of civilians. You don't need the same civilian. You do. I feel it probably would help somewhat to have a civilian in the interview process when you're interviewing one to come in as a law enforcement agent. That's just the thought that just came to me while reading Miss Cleopatra Jones's statement. You know, and once again, I can always go back to a person that I work with that told me they never were around blacks until they got hired with the law enforcement agency. That's a problem. That's a huge problem.
And Travis is asking, do you believe racism goes both ways? That's a great
Yes.
question.
Yes, absolutely. And let me say this.
I would say prejudice. I would say racism because
Let
we
me
don't
say,
we don't we don't have anybody oppressed. We've never had anybody one oppressed.
I mean, it's more than oppression. I do think that it goes both ways. I think racism, Jabron says no. I think racism goes both ways with both races. You can't. I'm not with everybody. With some. With some, yes. With everybody, no.
I don't agree. I'll say prejudice. I'll say you can have biases, but as far as think about that.
Yeah, that's just me. I feel that's, we all have our personal feelings and beliefs because I've been around people. I've been around both races. I've been around both of them. So I'm speaking from what I know and what I've seen. I'm not speaking from a third party, what somebody told me. So,
right.
So does racism and can it go both ways? Yes. Does it go both ways? Yes. But does it, the majority is, I feel, is biases and prejudices. But yes, racism, I feel, goes both ways. Ashley said you weed out the bad officers with the great officers. Thank you very much, Ashley. I will speak up when somebody's doing wrong because I don't care. What you gonna do to me?
Facts. Yep.
I mean, what are you gonna do to me? Don't try to do nothing to me because if you're wrong, I'm gonna let you know you're wrong. And the thing about it is, even if you're black and if you're a black officer, I'm still gonna let you know if you're right or wrong. Because don't get it twisted. Just because you're the same color as me, don't mean you're on my side.
True. And that's the problem, that there aren't enough people speaking up and saying, hey, that's not right.
Thank you, Miss Jones, for agreeing with your sister girlfriend right here. Because yes, racism does go both ways. And it does. And you have to know that when you experience it or when you are there and you've seen it and it happens and it goes both ways. I've seen it on more than one occasion. So yes, I think the majority.
Thank you, Travis. It's a blessing to be heard.
Yes, thank you, Travis. And thanks for watching us. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, we're grateful for all the comments, and we love when you guys comment because a lot of our shows people don't say anything; they're kind of quiet, and we love it. We agree to disagree here, but we're gonna keep it 1,000.
And we will keep it 100 and 1,010% because that's what we do. We're talking about it. We have talked about it. We do not like the things that we're seeing out there in the United States of America. Let's make life great. Let's make life great. How about that? Let's make life great for the black man. I'm just going to say it. Travis, I love you. But let's just make life great for the black man.
Let's be the change we want to see. Let's be the change we want to see and start with accountability with stuff. Yes.
We losing too many of them unnecessarily. So, and it's like, some you hear about, some you don't hear about.
Yep.
Some would never make the news, and some have made the news. I mean, so it's like, can we make a change and can we make a difference? Yes, the way we can do it is by voting, and I'll continue to say that. I know you will let us know how you feel, Travis.
Yes, ma'am. We welcome it. We welcome it. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. But the thing about it is the only way that we're going to make that change is to vote. We got to get out there and vote. Now, how much do I think it'll change? I don't know. I mean, there are some things that
It's a
You can do,
start.
I can't do.
It's a start.
It's a start, but there's some things you can do I can't do. There's some things I can do that you can't do. That's just a
True.
part of life. That's just the way it is. That's
True.
always going to be the way it is. I'm not going to be able to go and stand up in front of Times Square and shoot a gun and nothing happens to me. I can't do that. I can't do that.
Or even walk, or even just walk down the street with one.
I
Be
can't do
outside
that.
your house, standing outside your house. I can't just stand on my side of my house and hold a gun and protesters just walking by. I can't do that.
And you're and Jabron, right? Tonight is a night that due to the fact that what happened is in Wisconsin,
Yep.
the NBA, there are no games tonight. They're not playing tonight. They're not coming on tonight. They're all taking a break, and I agree with that. And people say karma, and I'm not gonna call it karma, but there's a time a while back one of the NBA players did not take a knee because he felt like he didn't have to, and then when he got out there and he went to play ball, he kind of tore his ACL, MCL, and guess what? He's out for the whole season. Sometimes we just need to, not always, because I'm not gonna follow you down a dirt road and it's pitch black. And then I'm the black girl that's getting killed in the movie. That's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna do that. Not gonna do that. But sometimes we just got to do what's right.
And stand up for what's right.
And stand up for what's right. You know, we can go back to the Olympics of 1968 when he stood on the podium and he had the only one that had the black fist up, had a black fit glove on. I mean, he never lived that down, but he was standing up for what was right. And he used that podium to do that. Sometimes we got to use the platform that we have to make it right or to do right. This is our platform. This is mine and Janice's platform. Once again, we are not experts. We just talk experience, things that we
all know it all. We all know it all. We know some.
We don't
always
know
learn.
it all. And feel free, if you would like to be a part of the top we will be more than happy to have you on. All you got to do is send me an inbox message, hit me up. We'll have you on any Wednesday night, and we can talk about all. We can talk about whatever you would like to talk about. No,
we can talk about Jesus because we talked about Jesus on here.
We talked about Jesus.
Amen. Yes, we talked about the Lord on here.
We love the Lord. Yes, we will let you know that we love them. You know, we don't care what your religion is. We don't care, but we love ours. Yes. Thank you, Ashley. Ashley says it's a great format. We want to make sure that we give everybody the information. We do not agree. Let me say this again, good people. We do not agree with lives being taken away at the hands of police officers. We do not agree with that. I do not agree with that.
I do not agree with that. It's wrong.
Yes, it is absolutely wrong. A lot of things, and Travis says you're right, and a lot of the things you're saying, here's my thing, it starts at home and having a loving and God-fearing parents. Now, I agree, but let's just keep it 100. You can raise them and you can teach them,
but you can't make them.
Yep, when they get a certain point and they got a decision to make, they got choices to make. And sometimes some of them don't always make the right ones.
That's right.
You can put them at the altar and make them call Jesus all night long. Once
but they might not.
Yes. Once they're away from you, it's like, they got choices and decisions to make.
I
put the fear of God in my child. Thank the Lord. She's a good person, a good girl, a good woman. She was, she was raised. Her mama raised her well because my mama raised us well. And
that's
I was
right.
sure that I did the same thing. So she has choices. She still has choices at her age. Thank God she's making the right ones. What we need to do, I need you to make a good choice and go vote.
That's right. There you go. And we done came to the point of the show where we're going to give our positive quotes. So mine is, I'm going to go back to Dr. Maya Angelou, old school. If you can't change the people around you, change the people around you. That's in every aspect of your life.
Say it one more time, sis.
You can't change the people around you. Change the people around you.
Immediately. Don't wait till
Thank you.
tomorrow. Don't wait. Do it now. And y'all know how I keep it real. You know, I try to keep it as honest as I possibly can. And I always got a favorite quote. But the thing about it is, at this point in time where we are, we need everybody to be safe. Wear your mask, wash your hands, sanitize, do whatever you need to do. There are too many people that we're losing at the hands of this virus. Now, they're calling it the coronavirus, but we really don't know what it is. It's a virus that's taken out individuals that probably could have been avoided. But please take care of yourself. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. You know, teach and train others to do the same thing. Social distance. You know, do what you need to do in order for you and your family to be safe. It's the most important piece. That is the most important piece.
What's up,
Elwood? Mr. Mouse?
What's good?
What's going on, Queen? We bow down to the Queen. Queen,
What's
recognize
up?
the Queen.
I want for myself what I want for my sister.
I want for myself.
There you go. That's it. I got it.
I want for myself what I want for my sister. I want for the Queen. I want for my sister for what I want for the Queen. Faith without works is dead. You're absolutely right. So we need y'all to get out and vote. We need you to cast your vote. We need you to get out and tell the people to vote. If you got to pick somebody up and take them, do whatever you can to make sure that you guys get out and vote. Stay safe, be safe. Yes, honey. Yes. All praises, hallelujah. We said it earlier.
That's right.
All praises to God. Y'all best to recognize who's in the building. It's the queens in the building. So y'all know what I say. You know, we have come to that point. So put yourself in a position of power. So without power, you will have no position. I want for my sister what I want for myself.
Period. On life.
Period. On that one. Point blank, period. On that one. Repeat that to yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. I want for my sister. Myself. Now you can put brother in there if you like. You can put brother in there if you like. You can put whatever you want in that statement that you like. But please, what you want for yourself, you should want for somebody else, you know. So at the end of the day, we love you. We appreciate you. Be careful, be safe. Do not turn your back on people. You know what I mean?
Communicate. Walk away sideways. Walk away sideways.
We love you. Keep your heads on straight. Stay focused. Vote. And on that note, y'all know, thanks. We come to the end of the show. It's always better to give than it is to receive. And we'll see you next week, my good people. Love you.
See you next Wednesday.